No, 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 no.
Hey guys, welcome to the new video. Before we dive into the topic, I just want to give a quick heads up that today's topic is pretty sensitive and I would like to ask you to not insult or directly send harmful messages to any of the parties involved. Secondly, I've decided to call this series where I give my opinion on things Materwelon speaks. So I'm gonna put all of the currently existing videos, this one and the ones in the future, in the Materwelon Speaks playlist if you ever feel like checking them out. Okay, so moving on to the actual topic. So the YouTuber and Twitch streamer Call Me Carson, with around 3 million followers, has had a horrible 2020. I think at this point we all know about this. His so-called girlfriend Katerina was exposed for cheating on him with fellow Twitch streamer and friend of Carson Fitz and like 5 other people as well. But now 2021 started out even worse for Call Me Carson, but this time he is not the victim but the person being accused. Twitter user MiniBorb claims that Call Me Carson groomed her, a very serious situation, and we're gonna go over it and I'll give you my thoughts on it. But while I say my opinion, I won't come to an indefinite conclusion, because Call Me Carson is yet to respond to these claims, and with other situations, many commentators have made the mistake of deciding who is right and wrong in the situation, while there was still regularly new evidence coming out, leading all of the viewers to believe that the person they endorsed is 100% in the right and the other side was either a pedophile or a clout chaser, when in reality that wasn't really the case and they rightfully got called out on that. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that here, we are just gonna go over what are confirmed facts at this point. So the post starts out with this girl saying, "Grooming, pedophilia, Carson situation. I can personally come out and say that I've been groomed by Carson. I've talked to many people and never came out about this since now. At the time I was still 17 and in high school." Okay, so right away, before we get into all the actual evidence, I just wanna quickly state that I find the word pedophilia very questionable to use in this scenario. Because hear me out, okay? While it might be morally questionable for a 19-year-old to talk sexually to a 17-year-old, I don't think you could compare it with actual pedophilia. What the creator Kiwis did, for example, I would consider that pedophilia just because the girl was 15, but 17 and 19 is a 2-year age gap. So I really wouldn't state that it's actual pedophilia. Because the reality is, like, you see this a lot, especially like in high schools I went to, you know, you would see freshman girls dating senior high schoolers that were like 17 and they were 14, 15, which is almost the same age gap. And yeah, I mean, those people, like, especially the freshman girls, they have no idea and think they're just like a perfect 10, when in reality, like, dude, I would consider you a victim, but it's not something illegal. It's just guys that aren't experienced are usually too scared to get with girls that are their age and have experience, you know. So just because that, I wouldn't call it pedophilia, but I would still call it grooming. So let's read through it. "I jokingly tweeted at Carson be my boyfriend on my old account. He didn't reply to the tweet and went straight to my DMs. I don't have old screenshots, but I have Discord messages." And then she goes on to show these messages. Okay, so when looking at these messages, first thing I wanna bring across is this whole Carson topic was trending with Minilad, and a lot of people were putting him on the same spot as Minilad. But I think Call Me Carson, unlike Minilad, did not try to purposely manipulate this person, right? I feel like this is more like Call Me Carson is obviously still very morally questionable, but he's obviously in a very confused spot right now with his feelings. I think you can tell that from these messages, and I just don't find it okay to compare him with people like Minilad in a way that you put them on the same spot. Like, I'm comparing them obviously, but I'm saying what Carson did cannot be on the same line as what Minilad did. Minilad did way worse. I recommend you watch my video on him. I mean, another thing is that he asks, when do you turn 18? This is something that at least makes him come across a little bit better than Minilad, because he seemed to want it to be legal. With Minilad, not so much. But I still just find the whole text, when you consider that this girl is underage and he obviously has a lot of power. He probably doesn't know what he can all do with the power, but it's clear that he has it, and he needs to be aware of that. And especially when you're like a person that's in the public light, you probably should be more responsible with how you talk to your fans, especially if they're underage. I feel like all these people that can't find a girlfriend in real life, but then they get famous on the internet and they have all these people around them who wanna date them. Yeah, it's obvious they're only using you for your popularity, and that's probably a thing someone like Call Me Carson wouldn't know, because I don't think Call Me Carson would necessarily be the most experienced with dating, and you can kind of read this from these messages. This girl also posted a video of her scrolling down through her Discord messages, and I screenshotted the most important ones that she didn't include in the main post, just to kind of get more insight on the whole situation. And you can see that Carson was probably pretty conflicted with his feelings. Person in his power should obviously have known better, so it's fair to criticize Carson for this. And there's also this screenshot of him admitting that he traded these nude photos with someone under 18, which is obviously referring to this girl. Yeah, so it's similar to the Minilad situation. He indeed admits to these things, but in a video I'm gonna show in a few seconds, you can kind of see that he also somewhat regrets it.
I'm not into kids, but I did trade nudes with people under the age of 18, which is very bad. I was 19. That's all you need right there. That's Carson's profile. There you go. There's all the stuff for that. And then, if you go down to the very bottom, grooming, pedophilia, Carson situation, this tweet, he says, "This shit is absolutely disgusting. I figure you guys will be seeing this sooner or later, but yeah, absolutely gross messages confirming that this is true."
It could be defined as grooming. I'm not gonna indefinitely state that here just because I wanna wait for a official Carson response. But I do find it quite questionable. Like, all of these big YouTubers keep messaging these underage fans over Discord. That's why you shouldn't use Discord excessively. So with Call Me Carson, he's kind of now been on both sides of the spectrum. Once being the person that had to go through relationship trauma, and then also being the one making other people go through it. I definitely think that Carson was less aware of what he was doing with these messages, if you compare it to Minilad, obviously. But I still find his actions to be pretty horrendous right here. So this was supposed to be mainly a video of, giving you guys insight on this. It's gonna be pretty interesting what comes out the next days about this, and I'll definitely cover something if new information has come to light. And from now, I would even advise you to not completely turn to one side at this point. Try to stay neutral at least the first few days and wait for a Call Me Carson response before jumping the shark on wanting to cancel him. And yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Definitely leave your opinions in the comments and let's have a discussion about this.